Andy West, that is why Jeremy Corbyn is wrong. He's doing, well, in a way, what I just did, which is he's talking about a banking culture that's 10 years ago.
Well, the crash might have happened 10 years ago, but I don't think anyone is credulous enough to think that the banking sector and the financial industry has changed beyond recognition in the last 10 years. We still have people getting huge bonuses, and of course we still have banks making vast sums of money and actually, respectively, paying very little back into the country. And it's not about packing all banks and bankers off to Paris in a bus. It's not about saying we want to get rid of bankers. It's just about saying, can you take a little bit more time to think, how can we benefit the average guy or woman in this country?
To say that the banking sector doesn't pay as much, the banking sector last year, £72 billion.
But isn't that... Sorry to interrupt, David.
No, it's all right.
But that is because the banking sector earns a vast amount of money.
Thank you very much indeed. Fascinating. Andy West, writer and broadcaster.
Later, with Andy West.
On Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.
Her name is Chrissy McKeague, and very recently she had gender reassignment surgery. How did it feel for you the first time you wore women's clothes?
The very first time, I think it was the beginning of an answer to a question. It wasn't the complete answer, but it was certainly the very beginning of, oh, that's something different, but it was also something very familiar and very comfortable.
Did you hate your penis?
No, I was very lucky. I wasn't particularly bothered by it, but I certainly didn't hate it, and I never attempted to harm myself in any way because of it.
It's very difficult for people to understand why you'd want to lose something that's so fundamental to you and move to something else.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that people are attached to it, but for me, it's not who you are.
If you could change the world, if you could wave a magic wand, do you wish you were born a girl?
That's a really difficult question. I don't know that I do, because I don't know that I would necessarily be who I am just now.
Love Sport.
Welcome to the Hashtag Show on Love Sport Radio. I'm Andy West. Tonight, after a video of an army instructor screaming at a new female recruit went viral, I'll be finding out if there's anything wrong with shouting demands for trainees to repeat that they're killers. Is it wrong to make them cry? Or is that just a necessary part of getting ready for going to war? I'm joined by Sean Molyneux, former British Army physical training instructor. Good evening, Sean. You've seen this video, I assume?
Yeah, I've looked through the video, and I think first thing, obviously, people need to understand what the sort of the bayonet assault course is and what the point is in the training itself.
Tell us.
Well, the whole idea of the bayonet assault course training is to give the recruit basically to simulate close-quarter combat. So it's there to rile the troop up, to get them ready.
I mean, I've seen critics saying it could cost lives on the battlefield because women are not suited to roles which require them to kill the enemy at close quarters. Is all of that just very patronising to women, do you think, or is there some truth in there somewhere?
Well, for me, I've trained with some fantastic women and some women who have done some great jobs in the military. The main concern would be is if they reduced the infantry standards, if they said they had to do reduced marches, then that would be an issue. Maybe
technology with weapons means now that women don't need to train as hard as the men and they can still be as deadly.
I think on the front line you need to be able to the loaded carries, the marches, the amount of training you need to do to take the positions and to do what you need to do. You need to be at a minimum standard.
Joined by Andy West, writer and broadcaster who really does hate cakes in the workplace. Now, Andy West, before you became a celebrity, you worked in our office, and you noticed, we could talk about this, can't we? You noticed that if everyone has a generous cake moment once every 3 or 4 months, that's a lot of cakes.
We have a saying in my house, I'm the only one who lives there, and it's eat cake every day, get fat. And that's why I don't want to be tempted by cake every day. And actually, if you have an office of 50 people and every person brings in 6 cakes a year, you've got an awful lot of cake.
Daily cake almost, yeah.
And then add to that, of course, someone's gone to Lübeck in Germany for holidays. They've come back with half a ton of marzipan. And someone else has been to LA and they brought back some Hershey treats. And before you know it, you're not working in office anymore. You're working in a patisserie. And if you want to go in every day and just do your job, You know, I was running every day at that point. I was trying to stay in shape, and I'm desperately trying now. And
You're
as
looking
you get
good
older,
on it. You asked if he's very slim, Jane, isn't he?
He is very slim, yes.
Yeah.
Clearly hasn't
No,
eaten a lot of
seriously.
cake.
But what I did find when I came into work every day, and this, what I would call a passive-aggressive flan or something, would be plonked down on the table in front of me, and then they'd be watching it. This is the problem, right, Jane? The person who cooks it, they plonk it down on the table ever so proud, like it's a newborn child or something, and then they watch to see who's going to have any. And then they note who doesn't, and they start to get a little bit annoyed that someone hasn't eaten their cake.
Jane, is that right?
Well, I suppose it depends on the person. I've done a little bit of reading today, and there is the office feeder, apparently.
Yes.
There's a type.
You can tell the feeder in the office. They tend to have a pink phone and they own rabbits, and they do eat the cake. They just don't eat it during the day in the office in public. They eat it at 2 o'clock in the morning with their head in the fridge.
Next on Radio 4.
Andy West is the broadcaster.
Hi, Paddy.
Body confidence is kind of what we're talking about, isn't it?
Body confidence, severe lack of it. I look back at photos of myself when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old on the beach with full T-shirt and jumper on, because even at that age I remember being really, really unhappy with the way that I looked. And then school showers, naked school showers, started in primary school, and it was just a horrific torture for me. And I remember the night before many, many times in bed crying or feeling very, very anxious, because this was a big deal for me. Partly because I was embarrassed about my body, partly because I was not a very popular kid at school, and I was frightened enough of the other boys as it was, let alone when I'm naked. It's a nightmarish situation.
You've now been on the telly, you write, you read, you're on radio. You're not hampered by low confidence, Andy. So you've got over this in your life, even though you're warning us. You're also a good message, because I mean, I can get through it if I know what the problem is.
But you still hold the scars, I think, and I don't want to sound melodramatic about it, but there are scars there. And the secret about confident people, and it took me until my ripe old age to learn it, is they ain't really that confident.
I think there's a great subject for another day. You have to come back. Andy, thank you very much indeed.
Later, with Andy West.
On Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.
We've got a caller on the line. Barbara, are you there?
I am, yeah. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Barbara. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you, sweet. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Are you in the bath, Barbara?
No, I'm not.
No, it's all right. It sounds a bit muffled. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Oh, no, I'm all right. I'm breathing.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. Paula,
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Paula. Where are you in
Hello.
the world?
I'm in Preston, Lancashire.
Oh, I went to university in Preston. I bet it's freezing.
It is. And
Absolutely
it's hailstoning.
It's hailstoning. What, right now?
Yes.
That's quite. You're not outside, are you, Paula?
No, I'm not. I'm sat nice and warm in the front room.
So how's life?
Not too bad. I was just very interested in that conversation about body image.
Yeah.
Basically, I grew up with people telling me, that there's the fat Irish girl.
Really? How did that
yeah.
make you feel when someone said that to you?
Absolutely disgusted with myself.
Really?
And it is even still with me now. I mean, I've got a wonderful husband, but just simply like getting undressed in front of him when we first got married, or going for a bath or anything like that, I used to cover myself up.
So does that affect you in your day-to-day life? Would you go swimming? Do you go on holiday and have pool holidays?
I don't go swimming. I don't take my clothes off on the beach, a bit like you. I cover up. A few months ago, I actually went for a bra fit, and that's what my daughter does. I went into the department store to have it done, and I was even embarrassed in front of her, and that's my daughter.
Bless you. A bra fit. I thought for a second that might be where you go and get fit in a bra, but I've never been for one. Is that where you go to the shop and they just find out what bra you should have, right?
Yeah, they take you in and they measure, give you a good measure up. And
we need to sort this out, don't we? We can't go through the rest of our lives feeling like this, because let's face it, life is short. So what are you going to do to make a difference? How are you going to feel better about yourself?
At the minute, I don't know. I have got a big stomach, and I know when I'm out, there's people looking at me.
I think what really matters in the world is I know it's a truism, isn't it? Everyone always says it, but the packaging doesn't matter. It is what's inside. And
it's the person that's underneath.
Yeah, and I get a sense that you are a lovely person, and I'm glad that you're not out in the hail.
I'm not.
And I really appreciate you listening in. Listen, Paul, have a good night.
Yes, the same to you, and good luck with your show. You're doing really well.